Hello everyone! So I always feel really awkward coming back if I've been gone for a long time. It's not easy for me to build up creative momentum, if you want to call it that. Then there's always the heaps of excuses and bullshit that people come up with as to why they've been gone. Well, short version, I actually had to get a new apartment. New landlords came in to the old apartment one day. Turns out they don't like pythons. And I mean that literally. Fourth wall withstanding, say for example if I were a python breeder. They didn't give a shit about the fact that the old landlords were perfectly fine with me living there. On top of that, I got promoted in one job, had to take on another job, and I'm still going full-time to school. So, something had to give somewhere. Considering these videos are something I take a lot of pride in, I didn't want the quality of them to drop, so I backed away for a little while, let the rest of my life settle down a bit. Now I'm back that everything's beginning to get more normal again. I may take breaks from time to time, but I'll never be gone for good. So for today, I want to talk about the myths of MGTOW. From, granted, it's just my perspective, experiences of what I've seen on my channel and witnessed in my life outside of online platforms. So let's get started. One of the most common myths that I have heard is that MGTOW are just a bunch of losers who can't get girlfriends. We can't get laid, so we choose to lash out vengefully online against the women who have scorned us and turned us down. To be clear, a great deal of us actually don't have any difficulties getting a girlfriend. Many of us have a great deal of experience in dating. I personally have dated hundreds of women, and I don't say that with any sense of pride, and note that I said dated, not slept with. Though I can't account for very many lengths of time in my life that I was genuinely single. I was either in a relationship or juggling several at any given time. I never had an issue dating. It wasn't the quantity, it was the quality. Almost all the women I ever got with were garbage. They were terrible people. How much of that was my personal taste is subjective, but coming from different walks of lives, ages, ethnicities, cultures, and none of it helped. Speculate however you want about what I might have been doing wrong. The point was I never had an issue finding a girlfriend. That was the easy part, and honestly was a lot of fun. I enjoyed chasing, flirting, and hooking up with women. I liked it a lot. If it had stayed that way for the course of the relationship, I would have been fine with it. Thing is, I'm sure a lure tastes great until the fish actually bites down and feels the hook. No, it never stays that way. And things always get twisted the minute the relationship gets serious. Because the whole point of the fun dating at the beginning is to lure the guy in. Thing is, guys won't make these kind of big life decisions and realizations based on one or two bad girlfriends. It just doesn't happen. Guys are a lot more determined and stubborn than that. At least a great deal of them are. They're gonna push through a lot of bad experiences, and if they don't get any good advice or guidance up front, make a crap ton of mistakes before they finally realize where they want to go with their life. Another big myth that I hear a lot is that MGTOW hate women, and that's ridiculous. Somebody's not going to spend that much time and energy, almost daily, talking about something that they hate. I, for one, don't necessarily appreciate the way I've been treated by them, but I can't say that I've ever hated anyone. It's a huge waste of energy to hate someone. And to be perfectly honest, I don't think that there's ever been a woman that I have met or known that I couldn't find something that I had in common with them, something that I liked about them, that I could appreciate their company for. In fact, that's always been the biggest part of my demise, is that I would ignore a huge chunk of the negative aspects of a woman, get tunnel vision, and only focus on the things about her that I liked. Alas, you can only ignore so much for so long. Eventually, the relationship was going to collapse because it was being based upon my willingness to ignore huge gaping problems. In a sense, the cream never seemed to outweigh the curd. So if it weren't clear, no, not wanting to date or screw women or get married to them does not automatically mean that men hate them, nor does complaining about or pointing out their flaws. Another big myth that I hear quite frequently is that MGTOW are the opposite of feminists. Now this one's pretty easy to disprove if someone has even basic understanding of either MGTOW or feminism in what they are. Feminism is a movement that is trying to change things. It is a political movement that is going through and affecting other people's lives, trying to police society in a sense, and is basically gynocentrism incarnate. If you want to see the opposite of feminism, project the ebb and tide of power if it were to sway away from women. I think we can all agree that women are in a sense of power right now, in a place of power when it comes to how men are treated in society and women, who gets the short end of the stick. I'm sure there may be a variety of answers to that, but let's surmise here. If there were to be a sway of power towards men, who do you think would be the ones to benefit most from that? MGTOW, who have basically chosen to step aside, who are not interested in participating in marriage or serious dating or any of the games. Who would benefit? Maybe MRAs? But considering a great deal of them are married anyway, then doesn't that just go to benefit women all the same? Like, most of us red pill don't actually push for any kind of political influence. As Turd Flinging Monkey has said several times, MGTOW are not political. They can be as individuals, but not as a collective group. When you walk away from any form of committed relationship, it really doesn't matter how women want to treat guys or what women get in regards to relationship with guys. We don't give a shit. At least speaking for myself, the most I want to do is show guys out there that are in those bad relationships, that are making the mistakes that I made, that there's other options, that they can define themselves outside of a relationship, away from who they can date, how many notches they've got in their belt. More importantly, the toll that game actually plays on the men themselves. There's more important things to life than women. Now, maybe that's completely obvious to some, but for individuals like me, you get swept up in kind of a vicious cycle. One day you wake up and 20 years of your life is gone. You realize you were distracted the whole time by something that really didn't matter to you and wasn't part of the big picture of what I wanted to become. So can someone really compare MGTOW, a philosophy almost entirely driven towards self-improvement and realization, in basically every way, directing a man to figure out what he truly wants within himself and not allowing outside influences to affect that decision? And compare that to feminism, a movement that is in basically every way driven towards changing the political climate in regards to a gender in order to sway power towards that gender's favor. Surely nobody still thinks it's about equality, right? I mean, we're all past that at this point. No, there is no comparison between MGTOW and feminists. MGTOW have walked away from the drama. Feminists are the ones causing it. I don't believe any of us are arguing with them at this point. There's really no advantages to getting in a pissing fit with a skunk, because no matter what, you're gonna stink when you walk away. Besides, they thrive off of all of the attention. They deserve what any other spoiled children do, which is to be stuffed in the corner and lose the privilege of playing with their toys. As long as people keep pandering to their whining, they're going to keep doing it as long as it works. Anyway, I digress. So one of the final myths that I hear frequently about MGTOW is that they are just men who have stopped dating. They're single guys who want to call themselves something. It's just a club, a group. These guys that just don't date or have become single, and the minute a girl comes along, they're gonna whisk right back up to being a boyfriend again and husband and act like it never happened. I hear it all the time. Oh, so you're just a single guy. Why you gotta make all these weird videos, man? So why do we not just call ourselves single? Well, how does being single get viewed in society? Well, almost automatically first response is, oh, are you looking for a girlfriend? Oh, do you need help finding one? I mean, I know a dating site you could check out if you want. Really? Is there something wrong with you? Like, are you gay? Is that why you don't have a girlfriend? Like, do you like other people? So from everything that I have seen, society doesn't allow men to simply be single. It's not condoned for a guy to be single. There must be something wrong or different about him if he were. The expectation is he will promptly fix that singleness as quickly as he can, because no man is truly a man without a leech on his back, right? Doesn't matter if she cares about him or helps him accomplish his goals or does anything positive with him at all. She could treat him like shit, and he's still more of a man if he's got a woman at his side. So why the label? When MGTOW have existed long before there was ever a name put to it? Because if we didn't put a name to it, we would be everything other than that. We would be every ridiculous, retarded explanation that the onlooker could think of to explain why for some reason we wouldn't want to jump right back in the plantation. In the end, when you pull away everything else, MGTOW is a mindset. It's a realization that what matters most to a person is the direction they should be going with their life, and not whatever anyone else or what society wants for them, but what matters to them themselves. That's part of the big reason why a lot of us don't show our faces. It's because we don't need to. Of course, setting aside the obvious reasons that there's a lot of people that would attack us based on our views as opposed to our qualities as individuals, despite that we're genuinely not hurting anyone. I know it's a bit off topic, but that's something interesting to think about. A lot of people assume that MGTOW hide behind a mask, but I would actually argue that a lot of these others hide behind a face. They use who they are to give what they're saying merit. You know, you hear Anita Sarkeesian or somebody talking, she's not talking as herself, she's talking as a feminist, or she's talking based upon her political clout, or what she's accomplished in her little social circles. You know, she's talking as what she believes is a person of authority. That's why when an intellectual listens to the message of a person like that, they sound like they're talking out of their ass. I know it's slightly different, but the same concept goes if you were to take a lot of famous stars that said good messages or bad messages and pull away the video and just put up an audio and post it by itself where it wasn't actually the person, it was just their voice. Who would really listen? How many people were listening just because it was a star or just because they thought that they were important? You come here on a channel like mine, it strips away everything that I've earned in my outside life. It is literally just a voice and a computer screen. There's nothing artificially supporting what I've had to say. Everything I have, everything I am, has to be defined through my content, through what I create. There are no shortcuts or pedestals for me, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So let these feminists and social justice warriors and all the other idiots of the world have their political backing, and let them have their pretty faces and cheesy smiles. Oh, who am I kidding? None of them are pretty. Because in the end of it, it has no effect on the quality of their message or what they're actually trying to do. When everything is said and done, nothing that they said is going to matter. None of it's going to stick because they were propping it up with artificial outside forces. In the end, MGTOW is going to survive because it's an accumulation of ideas and truths. The things every good father wanted to say to his son but either never had the courage or never had the chance to do so. Anyway, so this video went on longer than I expected. I plan to make more of them, but I'm not making promises at this point, at least as to when. I've got a lot of stuff going on. Furthermore, I will be adding new visual content soon as well as audio. I purchased a lot of music creation software recently. I'm gonna try to make some music, kind of do a bearing thing, if you're familiar with his channel. He makes decent content. Though he's not a MGTOW, he's more of an anti-feminist skeptic type. At least that's what I would call him. He's got some music stuff on the side. I don't know if I'm a singer, but you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. At the very least, I'll be able to make some better sound clips, and I won't have to buy individual songs to use as outros. And I can actually adjust volume now, independently. In fact, you know what's interesting? Not to be ranting here, but I'm able to take and chop apart other people's music now, and it's amazing how much of the individual components of songs really sounds like shit when you pull them apart. Pop stars and stuff, their voices aren't as great as they seem in the whole scheme of this song. But anyway, I got some good stuff coming. I'm going to be working on it as soon as I have time. I'll bring in more fresh content into the channel. Should be really interesting. I hope to see you all back again soon. Till next time, this has been Marcel. If you want to hear more content like mine, like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me if you think I forgot any myths. Might even lead up to a part 2. Anyway, I'm out.